So welcome back to my Road to Marvel's Black Widow series. This is week 14, so I was supposed to be talking about Doctor Strange this week, but then with the untimely death and kind of tragic death of Chadwick Boseman last Friday, I wanted to talk about Black Panther this week. This review was meant to be out yesterday, but then I got the opportunity to actually see Black Panther in cinema once again last night, so I said I'll knock this movie back, review back a day, and then talk about Black Panther this week, and then next week it'll be Doctor Strange. I remember when this movie first came out and the hype for it was unreal. Everyone was beyond excited for this movie. Everyone thought the trailer was phenomenal. Everyone was just so excited. Personally, I wasn't that enthusiastic about it. I thought the trailers were fine. I really enjoyed the Black Panther character in Civil War, but for whatever reason, coming up to the time, I just didn't really care. I was more inclined to be really excited for Infinity War and wasn't really thinking about Black Panther. Then after the first time I seen it, I didn't love it. I thought it was great. I never thought it was top tier MCU movies. I thought it was a good MCU movie, but I never thought it was one of the greatest. And then the second viewing, I was kind of burned out on it. The fact that everyone was going on about how great this movie is, how it's one of the best comic book movies of all time, one of the best movies of all time, getting nominated for Best Picture. I was just really burnt out on the movie, and I kind of didn't like it as much the second viewing. Just the fact that everyone was on and on and on about how great this movie was. But then this viewing right now, which was my third viewing, I don't know, this movie, it worked for me. It could be the untimely death of Chadwick Boseman, but this movie I really enjoyed it. There was parts to it, my problems I had before, I still had, but the parts I enjoyed before really did work for me a lot more in this movie this time around. But anyway, let's talk about the cast for this movie. Chadwick Boseman, who of course plays our Black Panther, he's great in the role. I really enjoy him in the role. I think he's just got such a likable presence, and he plays the king role really well, where you believe him to be a king, you believe him to be this superhero, and he just is straight up a great character, and I'm excited to see what they do in the future with this character. Also, the introduction of Michael B. Jordan's Killmonger he's phenomenal. I think he's a great MCU villain. He's right up there with one of the best. He's probably like close to Thanos for first place. I just think he's such a great villain where you kind of buy him to be. You understand that what he's saying is true, but you also understand what Black Panther is saying in the fact that we can't really do that. So you go back and forth on who you agree with a lot, and it just works really well for that kind of layout. You've also got Denai Guerrero, who I've got right up here as Michonne. She was the first casting for this movie. That when they announced it, I was just beyond excited, just because she's from The Walking Dead. I was really excited to see her outside the role of Michonne, see what she can do, and I just think she's great in this movie. She's probably the biggest standout character for me. The fact that I know her from Michonne, I just think she's a really funny character and has such a likable presence. She works off everyone so well, especially her and T'Challa. Their relationship just works really well. They really got good back and forth. She got all these great lines against him, and it's just every time they're on screen together, it's going to be funny because they just have such a great chemistry. Also, you got Lupita Nyong'o. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce her name. This is my introduction to her, I think it was. As far as I know, it's the introduction to her. But then when I seen Us the year later, that was my proper introduction. This is when I really started to take notice of this woman. And ever since that movie, I just find her creepy. So watching in this movie, I was like, oh crap, there she is again. Because I just think, ever since seeing Us, I just think she's such a creepy presence now. But in this movie, I think she's good. She's got a good relationship with both T'Challa and his sister Siri. I just think all their relationships are really well played, and I just like her. I think she's a great actress. I've also seen her in 12 Years a Slave now, and she's a phenomenal actress in this movie as well. You also have Winston Duke, which plays her husband in Us, which seeing him in this movie, I did not think of Us. I just thought he is hilarious. Every time he kind of speaks, I just thought it was hilarious. Like in the scene when they go up to his castle and he's talking, and everyone's talking, he just doesn't care. You can tell he doesn't care. He's great. I haven't seen this movie in about a year or so I forgot how funny his character actually was. I just remember him in Infinity War, which he's barely in, and in Endgame, and I remember, oh yeah, he's good in them, but then I forgot how much of a standout character he is actually in this movie. Also, you do have to quit the sister of Siri, which I'm blanking on the actress's name, but in all honesty, I'm not really a fan of her character. I find her to be quite annoying, especially in the movie Infinity War, when she kind of belittles Bruce Banner and thinking that she's a lot smarter than him, even though in a way she is smarter than him. I just don't like the fact that she came out of nowhere and she's now one of the smartest MCU characters, and you don't fully believe it because you see Bruce Banner, you see Tony Stark, you see them constantly learning, constantly building, but she just came out of nowhere and they're saying that she's now the smartest MCU character. And I just kind of find her annoying in some scenes, where I just kind of think in some scenarios, especially when it's the ritual of him becoming king and she's like, "Oh, can we just get out of here?" I just kind of found it to be a bit annoying, her character. Moments I like her. I do like her a little bit more in Infinity War. She's got good moments in this movie, but in kind of in the whole grand scheme of things, I'm just not really a fan of her character. One of my absolute favorite things about the movie Black Panther is the world building for this movie. Wakanda feels like an actual place, and it kind of believes a lot of people actually think it is a real place for some people. But just the way it is, the kind of look of it, the feel of it, the costume design, every costume that everyone wears is so distinct and so memorable. Like I remember the black cloak T'Challa wears around the place, or what or Siri wears. Her name's not Siri. That's the Amazon, the Apple app. Shuri wears to T'Challa's coronation, or even the two kind of ring blades that Lupita Nyong'o's character has around. All of their costumes, all of their looks are so iconic, so memorable, and the production design and costume design is all just phenomenal. Even the look of Wakanda, all the technology around the place. You just see the trains, like the first time we get introduced to Wakanda and we see the train going across, or even the train down the mine. All of it is such an amazing look, such a fantastic world, and it made sense why they brought Infinity War there, just because it's such a great looking place, such a memorable looking place, and it just looks great. I keep saying it, but I love the look of Wakanda. I cannot wait to see Black Panther 2 and see what has changed since then, especially because they've opened up Wakanda to the world. I'm looking forward to seeing what changes have come about in Wakanda now since what's happened in the first Black Panther movie. I love the character of Claw in this movie. Of course, he was introduced in Age of Ultron, but he's kind of like an afterthought. You don't really think about him as much, but when you think of Claw, I immediately go to Black Panther. He's absolutely hilarious in this movie. You just seem like the character, as well as Andy Serkis, is just having the time of their life, having so much fun, not taking anyone or anything seriously, and they're just having so much fun. The scene that comes to mind in particular is when they're robbing the museum at the start, and he kills the three guys, and he gets one guy over and goes, "You know what, I'll let you go." The guy runs away and he shoots him and goes, "Oh yeah, I want to spread out the crime scene, make it look like we're amateurs." Just he's having a lot of fun, and just me watching Andy Serkis doing this role, I'm having a lot of fun in that. One downside to the kind of character of T'Challa in this movie is the fact that everyone else, they all seem, everyone else, T'Challa is kind of seems like an afterthought to me in this movie. The fact that he is kind of a one-note character, he knows what he wants to do, he does grow through this movie, but he just seems like the standout characters for me are Killmonger, they are Denai Guerrero's character, they are Lupita Nyong'o's character, and then just T'Challa doesn't really stand out to me as much as they are. And for the fact that this is his solo movie, kind of knocks this movie down a bit for me. The fact that our main lead doesn't stand out as much as the other three characters I've just named off. Now, bear in mind, I'm not saying T'Challa is a bad character. I love the character of T'Challa, but I just find in parts of this movie he can be a bit dull because all the characters around him, they're able to joke around. Of course, he does joke around for this movie a little bit, but the fact that he's the king, he kind of has to have a bit more of a serious aspect to him. He kind of has to be a bit more respected than everyone else. So the fact that he's like that, you can't really have as much fun with his character as you can with the other people. Again, I'm not saying he's a bad character. I do enjoy the character a lot. It's just, compared to the other characters, I just don't really like him as much in this movie in particular. And then my negatives on the movie that have kind of even were worse than the first two times I watched it. Two big things is the action and the CGI. Starting off with the action, none of the action scenes are memorable. Of course, you do have the one that's kind of on those train tracks, and it's two people in the Black Panther armor fighting against each other. We've seen this now, four times. We've seen it in Iron Man 2, Ant-Man, we've seen it in Doctor Strange. I can't think, there's probably other ones, but just we see it again and again and again. And for this one in particular, I think this is the weakest one out of them all, just for the fact that they're both in black suits. It's a very black background, so you can't really see a lot of things. As well, we do have the car chase scene, which I enjoy the car chase scene, but again, that's a very dark scene. These are black cars, he's in a black suit. It is very hard to see what is going on because the whole kind of scenery is so dark. So the action sequences aren't really that good. Besides some scenes with rhinos fighting, they're not really that good. We get to see T'Challa take a rhino down, which was pretty cool. But the whole fight scene above on the grass, even though it was interesting, there's no characters besides Denai Guerrero, Lupita Nyong'o and Shuri that we actually care about there. The rest of them we don't really know, so I don't really care about them. Besides the guy who plays Chris in Get Out, and then again Winston Duke, all those, they're the only ones out, but we don't really see them as much in the fight. We kind of just see a grand scheme of everyone fighting, but because I don't know anyone there, I don't really care. Also, the CGI is very bad. In part, it's kind of laughably bad, especially that scene down the end I was talking about, the train when they fall down to the tracks, it's bad. It looks very much like Spider-Man 3 when he's fighting Venom and they're falling, they're pushing each other back to each other and they're punching. Just really bad. You don't really expect it for a movie that came out 2 years ago. You'd expect it for a movie that came out 11 years ago, but not a movie from 2 years ago. So this kind of action scenes with the CGI put in feel very much like an early 2000s movie rather than a late teens movie, which kind of knocked it back for me as well because the CGI don't really like. And one of the big things for me that I really don't like, I don't like the Black Panther suit in this movie. I love the look of it, but I don't like the fact that you punch it and he holds the energy and you punch it again and it blasts back. I just kind of feel like that made him a bit undestructible, especially in Infinity War when you see Captain America, he's got his sleeves rolled up and he's just punching people, but then you see Black Panther, someone hits him, he gets knocked up, and then someone else knocks him and he blasts them all back. I just feel like it makes the character of Black Panther a bit more indestructible. It doesn't make him as, you can't really follow him because you know he's going to be okay because someone's going to punch his suit, it's just going to hit them back. So I just, the suit in particular, I really don't like. So I hope they kind of, I can't see them doing it because it's such a great idea to have in the suit, but I hope they do get rid of it for the future installments because personally I really don't like that addition to the suit whatsoever. Now just remember, I really do enjoy the movie of Black Panther, but when I think about Black Panther and the things I'm going to fondly remember about it, it's not going to be the action and it's not going to be the CGI, which is kind of bad for an action movie that I don't really think about the action. But when I think of Black Panther, I'm going to think of all the characters, the story. All this is phenomenal, especially the back and forth between Killmonger and T'Challa, even though they don't have a lot of screen time together. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it was only about 15-20 minutes at most. And this movie is 2 hours 15 minutes. I wouldn't be surprised if they only have about 20 minutes of screen time. But I just enjoy the dynamic between the two of them, the completely different ideology and all of it. I just really love the story, the characters, and that's what I'm always going to think about when I think about Black Panther. But let me know your thoughts on Black Panther in the comment section down below. Is this one of your favourite MCU movies? Do you agree with me that it's not really as strong as some people say it is? Personally, in my ranking, it's kind of down the bottom. Well, then the bottom, I mean, out of 14, I have it at number 8. It's right after Iron Man, but right above Ant-Man. I do enjoy it. There's loads of good elements to it, but as I said, the action just kind of knocks it down a good bit. And the CGI, the fact that I can't really see a lot of it because it's in a black background, a black suit, all what I've said in this review. But I honestly, I did have fun with it, especially seeing on the big screen again. It was something I never thought I'd see again on the big screen was Black Panther. But let me know what your thoughts on Black Panther are in the comment section down below. Click the subscribe button so you can come back next week when I do my review for Doctor Strange and then so on and so forth, which will be Guardians of the Galaxy 2 after that, which I'm not really looking forward to. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Last time I watched that was back in January. I don't really like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. So if you want to hear my thoughts on that movie, click the subscribe button so you can come back in 2 weeks when I do my review of that one. And as always, thanks for watching.